I gotta say, football back, yeah, football back, football back, football back, football back. All I gotta say.
Hi, my name is Joe Daniel. Welcome to FootballDefense.com. Today we're going to be talking about running multiple fronts and keeping the same run fits from front to front. This is something that's interested me. It's not something that I've been able to do, but definitely something that's interested me and I've seen other coaches do, is run a number of different fronts out there without really changing too much for your kids, just changing where they line up. And they don't have to think a whole lot as far as how they're going to fit a certain play because they understand the run fits. It's going to cause a lot of problems for your offense, particularly the offensive line, in terms of figuring out where to block, who's going to be where, because they're going to have to make different calls every play if you can line up in 2 or 3 different fronts and really run them effectively. I don't think that you can ever expect to be great in every front if you're going to run a lot of different fronts out there. And what I'm talking about from running multiple fronts is not just running, for example, with the 4-3, we'll run an over and an under front. To me, those are 2 different fronts, but they don't change much as far as what our kids are doing. They're still shaded. What I'm looking at as far as running multiple fronts is being able to run both odd and even fronts. And not only that, being able to run, for example, a 3-4 and then a 4-2-5, where I've got a really good 2-high safety look, maybe a pass package, but then I'm also able to jump into a 4-2-5, where we've got an 8-man front, really good and solid against the run. So these are some of the things that we're looking at today. What we're going to look at today is fitting just a simple inside zone play. Here we've got the offense running inside zone to our right. The offense is running it to the left. And fitting it both out of a 3-4 defense and a 4-3 defense without changing our personnel and seeing if we can make those run fits the same. What we're looking at here with our 4-3 defense, first of all, the run fits, since we're shaded into the gaps, are going to be very simple. Our defensive end on the right is getting block 2 here. He's going to lock on this guy. He's going to hold his ground and try to squeeze him back in there. We're not going to backdoor a zone block. We're going to try to squeeze it back in. We get hard downhill run flow to the sandbacker side here. He's going to come hard now. He's going to fit up his inside shoulder tight to that tackle. He's going to close that gap off. He's not going to wait on this guy to get off to him. He's going to close it down now. He's going to fit up, and he's going to handle this gap. Our tackle 3 technique, getting block 2. He's latching onto the zone defender so that they can't get into this double team and overtake him and come off. We want to latch onto the zone defender, and just like our defensive end played it, we want to take away the inside half of the gap, handle it right there. Our Mike backer coming hard now, filling up the gap, taking it on with his inside shoulder just like our sandbacker did. On the flow away here, our will backer is going to sit. He's not going to go running right now. He's going to counter shuffle. If it were a zone read option, he'd need to be responsible for that quarterback. In this case, we've got a kick out block coming by a fullback. But if it were a zone read, we were in a shotgun, we had a threat of the quarterback coming out, our backside backer needs to be the one who is able to come back over the top on it. Nose guard fitting up the same way as the other defensive front up here, taking that on. He's got a little tougher job. He wants to stay tight to this center, latch onto that center, not let him climb to the backer, not let this guy overtake him. We teach him to get hips to the heat, to squeeze his hips as he latches on here, to squeeze his hips into the pressure coming back from him, just like you teach to split a double team there. The key is that he doesn't let these guys, either one of them, overtake him and block him by himself. We've got this zone block here, coming up, working to a backer. We want to bend and get underneath the kick out block. The defensive end wants to come tight, wrong arm this kick out block if it gets to him, and he wants to bend down the line of scrimmage to play the cutback here. But he is responsible for our cutback play there. If we got cutback and he was picked up, we still got the will backer to come back. So that's how we're going to defend that inside zone out of the 4-3. What's going to be different about our 3-4? Well, in our 3-4, we're going to slant one direction to the other. In this case, we'll slant strong. If we slanted weak here, If we were to slant weak, we would essentially have the same run fits up front. We would be slanting this guy into the B gap, same place that our tackle over here is playing, our nose into this weak A gap, same place that our nose is there, and we would be slanting him to the outside. That would make it very simple, and then these guys would basically be going to the same spot that they were in before. They would slant weak, these guys would work strong. So that's a starting point for us. We're going to slant him strong here. As we slant strong, he slants, he's going to take control of this guy, control this C gap. We get a block 2 for the defensive end. Same as we did over here, we're going to attack, hold our ground. He's the contained player in this case. We're going to attack, hold our ground, hold that A gap. As we get the downhill flow, we've got a gap responsibility. He's attacking, taking on the outside half of that guard with his inside shoulder, not letting him get off to him. The guard's not sure whether he's going to be working to overtake that tackle or have this backer. So that gives us a different element here than what he had before, where he knew 90% of the time he was going to have that tackle. Now he's not sure who he's going to get. We're slowing down their reads. We're fitting it up with the backer on the flow 2. We're slanting that B gap, controlling our B gap here. Backside, inside backer. Flow's going away from him. He's counter shuffling. If he gets cut back, he'll come down to fill it up. If it continues over here, he's going to scrape over, find an open door, or just let it keep scraping until he finally gets to it. Now we've got this guy. If we were to get the zone read look like we talked before, same guy responsible now for that zone read look. A little bit different in that who's responsible for the cutback. He doesn't have to fill as fast because this isn't coming to his side, but if it were to cut back, we could fill it up now. This guy's going to be responsible. Again, he gets a run read. He's coming to the line of scrimmage. Getting down there now. Depending on our coverage, he may be the outside contained player or he may not be. If we had a quarters coverage here, we may have somebody else coming down to help him out. So if he's not the contained player, we would want him to fit underneath of that kick out block, same way that we did with our end out here. So this is one of the differences, is that if he's not the contained player, he's going to want to fit underneath. If he is the contained player, he's going to fit it outside. We would have to have a fold and fill safety out there. So this is just two different ways of fitting it up, both effective. Both ways that we're going to handle this are going to be the same for most of our players, with just a slight change for this backer here more than anything. I don't think that you have to be great at slanting. I think you have to be good at playing on your shade. But you don't have to be great at slanting here with your technique. You just have to make sure that your guys can move and not get washed and really just get to that shade technique that we had them in the 4-3. This is something we talked about at footballdefense.com. We've looked at multiple fronts and ways to run our 3-4 and our 4-3 together. And again, we'd like to be able to work even more fronts together with the 4-2-5 and even some other looks, bear fronts and things of that nature as well. It is important to be able to match your coverages with your different fronts, so that's another consideration as well. Hope you'll stop by footballdefense.com, read over 200 articles we have there, as well as download our free ebook, the Defensive Installation Manual, for as you head into your off-season looking to upgrade your defense for next year. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.
Football back, football back. All I gotta say is football back. I put it all on the line. I got my chin strapped.